WWE 2K just revealed the first details for Universe Mode, and some of these improvements are really surprising. One of the biggest improvements this year is the ability to use a creation wizard at the start of your game save. So instead of jumping into Universe and you have to kind of destroy your first week usually to create the calendar that you want to create, whether that's to add in new shows, pay-per-views, or remove some characters or pay-per-views or shows that you don't want in there, or if you are completely customizing everything with like your own brands and championships and stuff, usually if you're like me, that ends up destroying that first week, and you have to kind of like it's just a very awkward experience. Now they are actually letting you customize your universe calendar before you even start the save. So now if you want to import specific shows on certain days, or if you want to customize the rosters, if you want to put people on certain shows and do like maybe you want some legends or whatever else, you can do that from the Universe Wizard before even starting the show, and generally just going to smooth the whole process, and I think that is great. It's available for both Classic mode and the Superstar mode as well, which is fantastic. So if you do want to put your character, for example, if you want to put if you want to play Superstar mode as like Braun Breaker, but you want to put him in like the Attitude Era, you can use this creation wizard to create the Attitude Era calendar, and you can take Superstar mode Braun Breaker into that universe straight away, which is fantastic. Finally, we are getting the draft. Now, it's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out. From the footage that they showed, they didn't show a whole ton of footage, but there is like this kind of picture-in-picture thing where you can see the general manager of the show making their choices and drafting whoever they need to draft, and you can kind of see their reactions based on who's selected, which is very cool. Players can also create, edit, and remove drafts from the Universe mode as well. So should you not want to do a draft, you can remove it, and if you do want to use the draft, then you can actually customize it in terms of who gets how many picks. Are there legends involved? Are certain like people involved? Are certain rosters and drafts and stuff, like what shows are involved? It seems to be like a very thought out mode, so I'm very excited to see how it's being implemented actually in Universe mode, because it seems like they've put a lot of thought into this. It isn't something that they've just added in kind of half-heartedly. It seems to have a lot of consideration in terms of customizing the experience for Universe mode. And again, if you don't like it, which is also very cool, you don't have to do it. So it says here, to create a draft when editing or existing a draft on the calendar, players will be able to give it a name, attach a logo to it, so it essentially becomes its own show, and then you can choose which shows participate. Supplemental shows can also be set up as an optional roster, such as NXT. So for example, you can have NXT call-ups going to Raw and SmackDown. The draft rounds can be adjusted in the settings and will take place during the show's match cards. It is a whole week event, by the way, so this isn't just like a one and done situation. It can take over the whole week, so it isn't just like a one cutscene and that's it. It seems to be this kind of evolving process as the week goes on, people getting drafted, and it says here the maximum number of drafts is 8, so I'm assuming that's 8 people per show. So you could really mix up the cards based on who gets drafted, and I'm super excited to see how this plays out. So literally, when I get my hands on Universe mode, I'm going to make a draft week 1. I'll probably start with like base roster, and then we'll do a draft, and then we'll just see where it goes from there. This year they've been really focusing on community feedback, and one of the things that they hear a lot from the community is that the Money in the Bank cash-in is not as smooth as it could be. So in previous years there used to be like a kind of button combination, or you could pause the game and you can cash in, or alternatively you could just set up the cash in from the main menu in like Universe mode. Now the problem with that is that normally if you did set up a cash in the Universe mode screen, it would normally kind of skip the match and you would just see the cash in, and that's not ideal. Now it does seem like you can just literally press a combination of buttons. So in the screenshot provided here, you can hold RB and Y to do a mid-match cash-in, or you can do an RB and X for a post-match cash-in. I really like the customization, especially as someone who likes to kind of create videos based on the game. I think that's an awesome thing to do, because obviously if you're watching the show with like your online community, you may want to surprise them with a cash-in. So I'm hoping there is a way to hide that image on screen, because you may not want to kind of show that to your community. But either way, I think it's going to give people a lot of better opportunities and better kind of circumstances to cash in. Promos have been updated as well. Now it doesn't seem to be a system that is particularly hugely developed. I was actually a little bit disappointed personally when I read some of the things that they were saying about promos. It does seem to be a case of still one person comes out with a microphone, there's still no real dialogue or any kind of text on screen to indicate what's going on. You just have the commentators talking over the promo explaining what's actually going on. And it says here that they have added in the ability to have self promos. Superstars can now make announcements that affect their immediate future, such as turning heel or face, changing division, or switching over to a new show. I mean, that's cool, but okay. You can do the call out and interrupt, so superstar options have been expanded to allow challengers to choose their next match type or challenge for the title, while champions can accept or refuse title challenges. And open challenges have been expanded to feature spontaneous title defenses. There is also a new promo type, which I am most excited for, the post-match interview, which is the winner of the match. Well, it's apparently a rivalry action, so like it just depends on who wins the match. It isn't like scheduled for one particular person, but the winner of the match will have the option to announce a division change, discuss a number one contendership match, or a title challenge. And for the loser of the match, they have the option then to interrupt the interview, shake their hand, engage in a brawl, or get into a stare down. So really, like the promos were like something that the community really likes, and they added it in last year as a rivalry action, and it was very cool that they added that in. I think maybe they need to expand it a little bit more, give us new environments and stuff. All the promos seem to only happen in the ring. There's still no option for 2v2 or 4-way promos or 3-way promos. So again, like, spoiler, they haven't expanded the rivalry system either. So the rivalry system is still either 2-on-2 or 1v1. There is no option for fatal 4-ways or triple threat rivalries. So you're kind of still in that, we're in this limbo of like, yeah, the system's good, but it could be a lot better. They do also highlight sliders in the ringside report, saying that you now have more match options to customize how your cards play out in universe, along with settings and sliders and all the rest of it. But they didn't really specifically show how this works. If it's anything like previous years, you can kind of set how often like specialty matches appear for rivalries or title matches. So I'm assuming it's something similar. Maybe they've added in more options. It says here for title options, so maybe like Money in the Bank or title matches happen more often. I'm not really sure exactly. They didn't really elaborate on this. There isn't really much information, so hopefully we'll see more as to how these sliders can actually impact the universe. And the absolute coolest thing for me, and it's hidden away at the bottom here, if you want to start from scratch, we've included options for clearing the default data, such as superstar relationships, divisions, rivalries, and more. Now that is awesome. I'm so excited for that, because how many times do you start a universe and you already have the predetermined factions, alliances, and they all come with their own title reigns and stuff. And I just think, like, if I start a universe mode, I want it to start with nothing. I want to see how my characters earn titles and win rumbles and go on their WrestleMania streaks on their own without having the real life stats behind them. So by the end of however many years I end up doing, I want to see what their stats look like. How many rumble matches have they won, and how many titles have they won? That's the kind of thing I want to see from my universe mode. So I'm so glad that they finally added that option into the game. And really, that's it. There isn't really a whole ton here. I think there's been a lot of like under the hood changes, and I think there are a lot of gameplay changes to the way that Universe actually plays. Universe mode is a mode that I think 2K needs to invest more in, because when you actually think about the game modes that are already in the game, you're talking like Showcase mode and My Rise. These are modes that are kind of one and done, right? Your Showcase mode, people normally just play it one time to unlock everything, and they don't really ever go back to it. And then My Rise, again, they've added in branching past, which is kind of replayable. But once people get all the storylines and they've seen everything they want to see from My Rise, or they've unlocked everything from My Rise, they never go back to it. So really, Universe mode is the mode that really brings people back. Arguably, you could say the same about online mode, because online people want to play, matches and shows online, and this is a great way to bring people back to the game. I think Universe mode, for people like me, giving people that customization and letting them play out their calendar, I think this, alongside something like akin to a story designer, let me have more controls of my rivalries, give me the ability to do more multi-person storylines, and maybe, you know, kind of like a story designer, let me plan out how these stories play out and how these characters develop over the calendar. I think Universe Mode went through like a fundamental change last year. It got completely rewritten, apparently, according to the developers, so the back end of it is now modernized and they can now build upon it. And we're kind of seeing some of that here. I don't think they went as far as they could though, but maybe we have to wait. Maybe we have to wait another year to see any substantial improvements to Universe Mode, but I am happy with what they're providing us, especially things like the draft. So again, really excited to see how Universe Mode plays this year. It's one of my favorite modes. So if you would like to see more WWE 2K news and watch me play Universe Mode, I guess, then be sure to hit the like button and of course subscribe to the channel. I hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.